Good morning, everybody. Here for a little self-management Monday. I took some time this weekend for some self-care to manage my own state, my processes for just inquiry, reflecting. I did come in to the shop on Saturday. We worked for a little bit, and then just decided I'm going to take some time for me to reflect and digest and rest and rejuvenate. And I think that's the key word for Self-Management Monday this week. Anyway, we'll continue with Self-Management Saturdays if that's working for everybody going forward. But that word rejuvenation, rejuvenating. And we're taking time to manage ourselves. Are you rejuvenating? Are you even taking time to manage yourself? I mean, that's the whole point of this series. We got started because, well, somebody had reached out and then other people were interested in how do I manage myself day to day? How do I manage myself at work or at home? I'm busy, caught up in this giant list of things to do. I'm forgetting things that I need to do. I'm not crossing off everything on my list, and then it's just building up and piling up, and I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, I got anxiety, pissed off, I'm burned out, I'm angry, FTW, right? If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. I'm not big on those terms, but that's one that's stuck. It's just one that stuck. So is that you? If it is you, and you've been watching these series, what are you doing to manage yourself? What are you doing to manage the feelings that you're experiencing, the thoughts that are coming up that are just playing on repeat over and over and over again? What are you doing to manage yourself in this attempt to try to change your schedule? Are you doing anything? Because if you're not, nothing's going to change, period. I picked up a book a friend of mine had recommended. She's amazing with manifesting things in her life. Quite phenomenal, actually, in my opinion. And so she turned me onto this book, How to Manifest. So I bought it. And one of the very first things in the book is beyond intent is you got to take action. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. Massive action. Grant Cardone, massive actions, he calls it. Take action. What sort of action are you taking? I made a decision a few weeks ago when I attended UPW. That's Unleash the Power Within. It was Tony Robbins, one of his events, probably one of his bigger events. And during the seminar, he has you identify what are two key decisions that I'm going to make in my life. That's it, too. We want to keep it simple. Two decisions. What are two decisions that I'm going to make? One of mine, lean into discomfort, because that's what change is all about. It's uncertainty, and we typically associate fear to the unknown, and that creates discomfort. So for me, lean into discomfort is what I've been doing. And what are you doing? I mean, just the smallest thing, two decisions. He has other stories too, Tony, about 2mm shifts. It doesn't have to be anything big. What are you doing to lean into discomfort, to change up your routines, to change up your schedules, to even take 5 minutes? Is that a lot of time? 5 minutes once a week? I mean, if we're keeping it really, really, really simple, 5 minutes once a week to say, okay, what are the dominant thoughts that played over and over and over again? Let's take some time to reflect on what were those. Am I overwhelmed? Am I pissed off? Am I pointing the finger? Is, things just all these other people's fault? And I'm a victim. So then what am I feeling? What are the typical feelings and emotions that came up over this last week? 3, what are the routines that I'm stuck in? What are the routines? Because we get stuck. We say we're stuck in a rut. That's where we get stuck. We get stuck because we're stuck in a rut. If we're stuck in a rut, it's because you carved out this pattern, just like a record that you've been playing over and over and over and over again, and you're stuck in that rut. And just like a CD, remember how sensitive CDs were? If you just scratched it, it wouldn't play the same again. But sometimes you could buff it out and get it to play again. But if you really scratched it super deep, it would never ever play ever again. So third question, what are the routines? What are the habits? What are my rituals? What do I typically do when I wake up in the morning and I brush my teeth, or I go to the bathroom and I make my coffee, and then I rush out the door, and then I go to work. And then I'm usually rushing to leave work and then get back on the highway, the freeway, and drive home. What are the typical emotions? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking when I'm driving home? Then I get home. What's my routine when I get home? There's routines. We have routines. We're human. It's human condition. But what are they, and how are they limiting your experience of, what you value? What do you value? Do you value freedom? Do you value love? Are you valuing growth or contribution? Are you valuing community? What is it that you value? So you got 3 questions right there. You take 5 minutes to ask yourself, even once a week. What are the dominant thoughts that are coming up over and over again? What are the feelings that I'm experiencing? And what are the routines that I'm continue to carve out over and over and over again? And just that little bit of awareness can make the biggest difference, because once you have that awareness, you can see, okay, this doesn't feel good anymore. Now, if you want to forecast that, say, okay, if I don't make a change now, where am I going to be in 6 months? Where am I going to be in 12 months? Where am I going to be in 3 years and 5 years? If you don't make changes, and take a look, I don't want to go too deep and give you too much here, but take a minute to reflect on your past too. How long have I been feeling this way? Has it only been a year? Has it only been 6 months? Or has it been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What have you done to make a change? So last weekend I took some time for me. I feel pretty good this morning, and I want you to feel pretty good too. The more frequently you measure, the better you'll be able to track your progress and how much you're actually changing day to day. But if it feels overwhelming to do this every day, to take 5 minutes every day, I gotta admit, I don't do it every day. Doesn't mean that you can't, though. It doesn't mean something that I should probably pick up myself as well. But that is a principle. The more that you track something, the better you're able to track how well you're progressing. If you do it once a week, that's, it's sufficient. If you do it once a year, if you decide now and then you only check in a year from now, you're going to forget it, and you're not going to make any progress, very little probably. So you see that, how it works. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. 3 things, 5 minutes. What are the typical thoughts? What are the dominant thoughts that have been coming up over this last week? What are the dominant feelings and emotions that have been experienced over this last week? And what are my routines? 5 minutes. Share them below. Tag somebody if you know that they're struggling. So we're all here to lift somebody else up. In a previous video, I said growth and contribution are 2 of our strongest needs to help get us out of being stuck when we want to grow, because that's change, and then contributing. When we can do something for somebody else and lift them up, it feels good, it feels rewarding. So tag somebody that you know is having a hard time. Share what you're going to do. What are you committing to do? The smallest thing, what are you going to commit to do? Post it in the comments below, because when you do it, other people see it, other people will follow your lead. If you have any questions, send me a DM, drop it in the comments below. Talk to you soon. Cheers.